and let's go. Hey guys, so if you're like me, before you've been driving a GT500 and you thought to yourself, well, you know, this is a great car, but we live in Canada and there's snow most of the year, so I need something like this that I can drive in the snow. Well, now Ford has actually made a solution for that, and it's right behind me. This is not a regular Ford F-150. This is the Ford F-150 Raptor R. So here it is. This is the Ford F-150 Raptor R. The difference between the regular F-150 and the Raptor R is that the Raptor R comes with the GT500's 5.2 liter V8 supercharged, whereas in the GT500 it does come with 760 horsepower. In this, it only comes with 700 because you got to stay a little bit more safe in the winter. But other than that, the car looks almost exactly the same as a regular Raptor. Ford really kept this thing as low-key as you can kind of say it is, but there's a few minor differences. So now, most car companies, when they bring out a high-performance version, you know, they come out with new bumpers, more aggressive wheels, a lot of visual differences to differentiate between the cheaper model and the more expensive model. Ford didn't do much of differentiating. So here you have all these 8s, and among them there is a V somewhere to show you it is a V8, but other than that, they did something else. Ford really went back to the basics with this one, and what I mean by that is they use an old technique that you learn in kindergarten called coloring. Took a lot of the R's and they just colored them orange, just like this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Last but not least, but the big way of differentiating the cars is if you press this little button right here. Let me show you what happens. Okay, so time to drive the Raptor R. Now, I've driven a bunch of GT500s, I've driven regular Raptors, so it is going to be interesting to see how the two kind of get put together and get combined. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it to the loud exhaust mode because I want to enjoy that sound. But now, let's floor this thing and hear the supercharged V8. Whoa. This thing is freaking slippery, and I just realized I have it in the 2H mode. I'm going to flip it to 4A so I can get full traction when I floor it, because otherwise it's going to get kind of dangerous. This is kind of cold today for these tires. Now, obviously, when I say it's kind of cold for these tires, I do mean for a launch. This is a full off-road vehicle meant to just go over snow, mud, anything you want it, but holy shit, this thing is so freaking fast. For a pickup truck, it's insane. I mean, this will keep up with a Mustang GT, no problem. Probably wouldn't keep up with the GT500, but you can believe Ford is 700 horsepower in here. This is freaking crazy. I actually thought this thing is going to feel a lot more like a boat. The regular Raptor is not a fast car by any means. You know, it's a regular pickup truck with a little bit more oomph, and it just feels a little bit bigger and more aggressive. You still get the bigger feeling here, the very aggressive feeling here. The one thing I gotta say, it doesn't feel as big as the TRX. I've driven the TRXs. The TRXs feel like you're driving a Super Duty. This still feels like you're driving something the size of an F-150, which is kind of nice because I feel like you're a lot more confident going into turns with a car like this. But man, you know, you can tell this is not a Raptor. I was like, oh, you know, when you drive it normally, you're not gonna be able to tell. I mean, this is a pretty outrageous car. This is not your everyday truck. I probably would never daily this. I feel like the fuel economy on this will be absolutely horrible. I mean, the regular F-150, you can get 1,000 kilometers, 600 miles on a tank. No shot you're getting that in this. I mean, supercharged V8, like, come on, there's no way. But, oh my God, that sound, it sounds like a GT500. It's the same engine, it's the same everything. This thing is freaking wild. And honestly, it feels kind of stiff. It doesn't feel like a boat, you know. I'm going to put the suspension in sport mode right now. I want to see if it kind of stiffens up the suspension, because the problem with a lot of these big cars, the Escalade V, all that stuff, yeah, you get the straight line power, but, you know, the car is just very wobbly. You feel like you're literally going to fall over. The seats hug you very, very nicely. The Raptor seats are always very good. But man, this engine gives this car so much character. And before, Ford was really lacking with the Raptor because, you know, the competitor for that was a TRX, which has 702 horsepower. Man, with 450, I mean, it's not even the same buyer buying those two trucks. This is for an absolutely insane person. And if you're that insane person, that's freaking awesome, because that must be a fun life. This is the stupidest car ever made, and I'm not saying that in a way where you shouldn't buy this car. I'm actually a big fan of stupid cars. Stupid cars put smiles on your faces, and this tops the chart with stupid cars right now. And I like the fact that we're not really seeming to go in a direction anymore of, oh, everything's got to be smaller engines, fuel economy. People are understanding that you just want to put a smile on your face when you drive a car, and that's really going to sell the car. And this shows on this car, because MSRP on this in Canadian dollars is about 160. These cars are selling for over $200,000. These cars are selling for almost GT3 money. Let's floor it. Oh my God. I am going very illegal speeds right now. This is crazy. This is accelerating faster than my GT4, like on highway speeds. Once you're already going fast, it's still going. It's not slowing down. I don't know what the top speed of this thing is, but I feel like it's going to get to it very, very quickly if I try. Now, you still get all your comfort features here. I work at Ford personally, so it might be a bit of a biased opinion, but I really like the Ford infotainment system. The whole interior of this car is just, at least it's very familiar for me, so that's why I'm very comfortable with it. But you get the wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, this nice big 12-inch screen, 360 camera. You have your interior work surface right here. You can open up as a table. I mean, in my opinion, and it is probably a biased opinion because I do work at Ford, but I think the overall interior and usability of an F-150 is the best, and you kind of notice that because the people that are buying F-150s generally are not comparing them to Rams or Silverados or whatever it is. The people that are buying F-150s are just coming to buy an F-150. But this one is as nice as they come. It comes with literally every single option. Sunroof, the B&O Unleashed, which gives you 18 speakers in the headrest. So, you know, you could use this as a daily and you'll have all your comfort features. You'd have to be a little bit of a lunatic to use this as a daily, but you could. If you really wanted to, you definitely could. You get all the little Raptor bits, the line on the steering wheel, the orange stitching, carbon fiber everywhere. I mean, this thing is 40 grand more than a Raptor, but that's not that bad considering you're going from that 450 horsepower 3.5 to the 5.2 liter supercharged V8 with 700 horsepower. You don't really get much else other than that engine. And this car comes standard with everything else you could possibly option on the Raptor. I mean, you can only get this with the 37-inch tires, or on the regular Raptor, it is an option. I think it's a $7,000 option. But these 37-inch tires probably do make the car a little bit slower, but you know, they give it that crazy stance. The car looks massive. This thing's insane. There's nothing else I can really say. Okay, so we're back on regular roads now. I'm gonna kind of calm the car down a little bit. I'm gonna put it in quiet mode. I'm going to put the suspension back in normal mode. So as soon as I pass like 2,500 RPM, you can already start hearing it. So again, you're not going to think you're in a regular truck for even a second, but it doesn't idle loud. It's not too obnoxious. The size is doable. I mean, I feel like I'm in a regular size pickup truck. There are cops to my right, so I'm hoping they don't come here and decide to pull me over for some reason, because this thing is pretty outrageous. But the one thing I do like the Ford did seem to do with this, and I hope they don't change it, Raptors, you know, they were, especially with the COVID market, they got very exclusive and they were selling for huge money. You could not get them, and now they kind of started making them a lot again. You can get them. They're going for MSRP. Realistically, it's not very hard to get. This thing is not the same. I don't know exactly how many there are of these in Canada and the US or whatever. I think there's only a handful in Canada so far that I've got delivered. I don't know how many more are going to get delivered. And it makes sense because, again, to find the person that doesn't need to spend $40,000 extra to get a 5.2 in their work truck, how many people are really going to do that? I mean, right now, with the COVID market, people are seeming to spend a little bit more money on cars and just splurging out a little more, but now it's kind of coming to an end. People aren't buying cars just for the fun of buying cars as much as they were anymore. So if you want to keep this car's value up, you do need to make less of them, because yeah, 6 months ago everything was bringing over sticker, but now cars are starting to dip in value again, and a rare car is what's going to bring the money in. Man, this thing right here, this thing is very, very rare, at least from what I have seen so far. Okay, we have a bit of a stretch right here. I'm going to put my foot down and let's see. Okay, that accelerated way too fast. I didn't expect that. This is as fast, honestly. I changed my mind about it being as fast as a Mustang GT. This is as fast as some probably Porsche 911s. This is like fast. This is actually, you're going 40, you press the gas, next thing you know, you're going 120. Now, the big question that I would kind of think is, would I buy one? So this car, as it stands in Canadian dollars, I believe the MSRP was about 160. Now, let's compare it to other F-150s now. Now, 160 might sound insane for a truck. You might be kind of still thinking trucks, you know, $40,000, $50,000, whatever. But I work at Ford, so I'm seeing the prices recently. This car comes with everything. If you're on a fully loaded regular F-150, let's say you take a limited, F-150 limited will get you to close to $110,000 Canadian. So $40,000 is not the worst thing in the world. This is about the same price difference between a basic F-150 Lariat to an F-150 Limited. Now, a lot of these people that are buying these nice trucks, they make a very good amount of money. They don't really have an issue paying for the Limited. Those people just kind of want the nicest truck. At that point, I would say that $40,000 extra to get this thing that's honestly one of the most fun cars I've driven in quite a bit. You can drive it all year round. There's no restrictions. You don't have to wait for a nice day. I mean, I'd actually love to drive this thing in a snowstorm. I feel like it would be the most fun experience ever. You can just drift it around, just literally floor it everywhere, climb everything. You really just won't care. I think this thing is actually really worth the money. Any other manufacturer, you look at a high performance version of a car, let's say you want to buy an SUV, so you buy Range Rover SVR, you buy Mercedes GLS, GLE 63, whatever, you're going to be probably looking at $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 more than this thing. And I cannot tell you you're going to have more fun. You probably won't have more features. Yes, this is an American car, so, you know, there is plastic in some places. It doesn't feel as the highest quality of car. So yeah, would I buy this over, you know, a luxury SUV like a GLE 63 or a Range Rover SVR or whatever that would cost $30,000, $40,000 more? Yeah, I think I definitely would. You're definitely going to be different in this. This is something a lot more enjoyable. You're just going to feel more fun. You're not going to take life as seriously. This is just a car for someone that wants to just enjoy life. Not too serious of a person. Like I said, this is a car for a freaking lunatic. This is one of the weirdest, craziest cars on the market. Yeah, like, this thing's a blast to drive. Now, I just finished most of my driving with the car. I was about to go outside and do the outro, but it just got extremely windy and snowy outside, so I'm gonna do it right here. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the Raptor R. Make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed already. We're gonna have a ton more cool cars. This is the last cold day of the winter, the last one. After here, every day should be somewhat drivable for fun cars. And we're not gonna do so much pickup trucks. We're gonna do a lot of sports cars, BMWs, Porsches, hopefully Lambos, Ferraris, whatever it is. This is going to be an exciting season, so definitely stay tuned, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.